Do you have the talent? Do you have enough talent within your program? We have plenty of talent. What we lack right now is experience. That's our job as coaches to put these guys in position to be successful and react in the calm manner that the experience they need to play well against Oregon. That game will help set us up for the SEC gauntlet we have coming after that. That was a Kirby Smart at Media Days in Atlanta. Really a very good event in Atlanta. Keyword Atlanta. Um, Talking about how important it is for really, he's talking about the beginning of seasons and why it's so critical to to play big games at the start. And for Georgia, this game is going to be a home game. Okay, don't worry about that part. But you know, there's plenty of experience on this team. And we know we do know they are good, no question. But um, this was something he said at the opening part of his pretty long opening statement. It was the end of his opening statement, and he was talking about how it will set them up for what's coming after that in the SEC. Well, when you look at Georgia's schedule, and you can find that at Dog Post under schedule. They got Oregon, and then you got Samford. Now you can lose the Oregon game. They probably will not, but you can lose the Oregon game and still go win the national championship. I mean, these are things that are not uncommon these days. We've seen teams lose. I mean, Alabama lost to Auburn and won the national championship in 2017. It doesn't matter when you lose anymore. That's for the 80s, okay? But the Oregon game, what Kirby's saying in a nice way is, the Oregon game is really the toughest game they're going to play for a little bit of time. I mean, South Carolina may or may not be ranked when Georgia plays them. Carolina plays Arkansas to start the season, and then they also play someone else who can beat them, and I cannot recall who that is exactly. I am going to look it up real quick though. Why can't you just have it? Why can't it just be ready? Um, they play Arkansas. I don't think Georgia State can beat them. So the Arkansas game on the road for South Carolina will be a big challenge for South Carolina. Spencer Rattler. That's going to be a tough game for Carolina to win. Okay, but for Georgia, the Oregon game is a place setter. It lets you fire off right into the beginning of the season, and we've seen this literally every single season except 2018. And I'll talk about that in a second. In 16, they went to start off with Carolina at the Dome, North Carolina at the Dome. 17, game two, Notre Dame on the road. In 18, you know, that was not the same, but they started again on the road at ranked South Carolina. Now, if South Carolina beats Arkansas, okay, then that's a little bit different situation, okay, on the road particularly. In 19, obviously, they had the Notre Dame game, not right at the beginning of the season, but they opened against Vanderbilt on the road. Now, say what you want, but it's a conference game, okay, and it's on the road in Nashville. In 20, they played on the road at Arkansas. 20 was a mess. I was looking at some videos the other day of the 2020 season, and just as a reporter, that was a very lonely season. I was the only reporter that went to every single game, and Roddy and I were the only two people at Missouri. But that season was something else. But they started on the road at Arkansas, and then a season ago, you had the opener with Clemson. I was talking with Mark Riggs before the Clemson game in 2021, and I was doing a story about 9/11 and how he and his program kind of tried to move along. That was Mark's first season at Georgia. And we were talking just off the record about the Clemson game. And I said, it's kind of a dangerous game because, you could lose. And he said, yeah, but what if you win? So his point was, and Mark played a lot of early season games too, if you think about it. I mean, they played Clemson. Oh man, they played Clemson season openers. Mark was there 15 years. 4 of the years they played Clemson as season openers and won 3 of them. They played Boise twice to open a season. They played Oklahoma State twice to open a season. And someone else can correct me with the other ones, but well more than half the time, Georgia was playing a challenging beginning of the season game. They lost the away game to Clemson in 13. They lost to Boise at the Dome, and they lost to Oklahoma State. All the other games they won, whoever they were playing. So this what Kirby's talking about. This game sets us for the SEC Gauntlet we have to play after that. He's right. It's also a great game just to start a season, generally speaking. Hey, I've got a great deal for you. If you pick up DAWGSTRUCTION today, okay, uh, you will get our 2022 preview with it. So you do not have to order both. Okay, but if you just want the magazine, let me know. Or, well, don't let me know. The links are down below. I am running out of these magazines, which means this offer is not lasting a lot longer. Okay, when I'm out of the magazines, we're done. I'm not printing more magazines. We're not so far from the season. You're going to want this in your hands. It's very nice. Obviously, I've talked about DAWGSTRUCTION a lot. This is a full color, the whole deal. Look at that image. Who took that picture? Somebody you're talking to right now. Pick it up today. You're going to want it. It's awesome. You cannot get this anywhere else, y'all. There's only one place that you can get this besides down below, and that's at Red Zone on Clayton. Make sure you're picking it up if you're in Athens. I'm sure Scott and Mindy are totally out of them now. I need to get them a few copies. But anyway, this opener against Oregon, if Mario Cristobal was coaching, I would say Georgia would have a 70% chance of winning this game. There's been so much transition with Oregon. It's tough to really see them winning a road game, a game in Atlanta. It's tough to play Georgia in Atlanta. Now, some people say, no, that's not true. Just look at what Alabama did in 2 SEC championship games and a national championship game. Yeah, bitch, you're not Alabama. So that's all I have to say about that. But it's tough enough for Alabama to win those games, by the way. But the challenge, the reality is Georgia could lose this game, though. Now, I mean, this is not opening the season with Vanderbilt, and next season, they're going to play an opener and they're going to play Oklahoma, so on the road. So these are all games that are set up for a reason. They're challenges, and you want them to be, big fights. Get your team ready, prepared, all this stuff. Kirby has done a very good job of winning opening games. I don't think he's lost a single opener in 6 seasons. They were underdogs against Clemson last year. People forget. I mean, like, that's the last time they've been an underdog. I see sometimes in the comments, I read them sometimes. It's very entertaining to read what y'all have to say. And I see people that they were underdogs to Alabama. No, they were favorites to beat Alabama last year. They were upset in that game. But they were favorites against Carolina in 2016. They were underdogs against Notre Dame on the road. They were underdogs against Clemson and Charlotte. So being road underdogs, if you will, or neutral side underdogs, that's not a big deal to this team. Kirby and them have done a pretty good job of upsetting teams. The problem is that they're not underdogs very often. I mean, that's just not common for them. So they won't be an underdog in this one. If Mario Cristobal, if you did not have change there, if you did not have a brand new quarterback coming into a situation, does it help that Bo Nix understands Georgia, has seen the athleticism and speed? I mean, Bo Nix can really run. I don't know if it does or if it doesn't. Bo played his best game against Georgia in 2019. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go back and look. It was not the 20 game. He did not play well against them then. And in 21, he was competing, but he just could not stick with that defense. The question is, can Bo Nix give Georgia a bunch of trouble because you have new defensive players? I don't know. I mean, I'm skeptical of that too. But it is something to pay attention to. This Georgia team, the Oregon game will matter none for Georgia, win or lose, as soon as they get off the field, because the path forward for Georgia It's there. You win the SEC, you're in the playoff. Don't even let's act like that. Don't even act like that's a thing. They lost to South Carolina, who was trash in 2019, and went to the LSU game with everything in front of them. I mean, they win that game, they go. Same thing in 18. I don't remember who they lost to. LSU. Um, in 17, they did lose to Auburn. If you win the conference, you're going. So, so the Auburn, excuse me, the Oregon game will only matter in that moment, and as soon as it's done, it will be done. Now, it can tell us things. It can tell us things, but the result, it makes it trickier if you don't win. It makes it trickier if you don't win. But just because you win doesn't mean you're going to the playoff, and just because you lose doesn't mean you're done. So it is a moment in time that Georgia is getting prepared for. Kirby says that game will help set us up for the SEC Gauntlet we have coming after that. Yes, but playing Oregon and Atlanta is not going to be like playing at South Carolina, and it's not going to be like playing at Kentucky or Mississippi State. Those are going to be real challenges for Georgia. Every other game is either in Atlanta or in Athens, or in Jacksonville. So Georgia will have at least half the crowd again, and if my math is right, 9 of 12 games. Well, let's just say 8 of 12 games, because at Missouri they won't have a big contingent, and South Carolina certainly they will not outnumber them. No, so this will be a tougher season in terms of road, because they have 4 legitimate road games. They're not playing Vanderbilt. They're not. I mean, look, they bring a lot of people to Tennessee, but they're definitely the road team at Tennessee. Okay, but that was probably 15 to 20,000 Georgia fans there last time. But you're on the road. So this Oregon game though gives them a chance to get ready for the season. That's what Kirby says.